All right, we're live. We're live.
Oh, are we? Are we live right now? Hello. Hello. Ha. Oh, don't mind me. It just came in from the hallway. Let me. Hi, welcome to the Mormon and the Meth-Head reunion show. It was very important to me that I walk in into an entrance.
All right.
We're excited. Can we see how many people are here? Does it tell you?
96 so far.
96. Wow. Thank you guys for being here.
So far, Nick's got the best comments so far. People are excited.
It looks like I spent quarantine in the Appalachia. Is that the look that this vibe gives off? I like it. The quarantine was fantastic for my overall face, like nothing else. My gut is humongous, but my face looks better than it ever has. I get high and I take selfies a lot. Do you ever, I call it photo shoot high. I'm like, yeah, I was photo shoot high last night. And I just get really blazed. And yeah, so many people are talking about getting high for this. It's fantastic. But I'll just get real high and just like play with lighting in my bedroom and my phone and just take so many pictures of myself. It's the only time that I truly like myself. So thanks for being here, guys. We're glad that you're here for the reunion show. I think we put it in the comment, but there's a $5 suggested donation for the show this evening, or if you're watching later, whenever you're watching, if you wouldn't mind throwing something into the virtual tip jar, we would greatly appreciate it. For simplicity's sake, we're asking that everything goes to Venmo if you got it. If you got Venmo, do Venmo. And my Venmo is at Aaron-Woodall. There's a dash in the middle. It's Aaron-Woodall, and that's the Venmo. But if you don't have Venmo, like our international friends, you can also do Cash App or PayPal. You could do Cash App, Aaron's Jokes, and then PayPal, either Aaron's Jokes or AaronWoodallComedy@gmail.com. And you could send your money there. But if you've got Venmo, it's easier if we get everything in one place. So do that. But thank you so much.
Oh, another money-making suggestion for you here.
Okay, this has been suggested to me for months now. Lots of people have said I should make an OnlyFans. I have spent a considerable amount of time thinking about it. I have started practicing poses and stuff. I was like, what are sexy poses?
Is it videos or pictures?
Here's what I would want to do. Well, I don't know. If my dream OnlyFans, you guys tell me if you would subscribe to this OnlyFans, would be mostly smut. Would be mostly like written, like I just want to write out a little quick sexual fantasy about some boy about to leave on his mission and having sex with his girlfriend in like his dad's SUV and all the guilt and shame that he feels. And then like a few pictures a month, a couple pictures. I think it might be a good motivation to work out, because I started doing some OnlyFans research and I was like, there's guys doing this. And then all those guys had six packs. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to work out that much. I'm never going to give up M&Ms. So I don't know. And then like, I just feel
OnlyFans of you eating M&Ms. Just
maybe.
Like dropping them on your chest.
Just pouring giant party-sized bags all over me.
You have all the props available to you. This swan, is that a swan?
What? Swanson?
Is that a picture of a swan?
Oh, it's a bunny. The person's profile picture? I think it's bunny rabbit.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought that was a swan.
Is that what you were?
No, I legitimately that looks like a swan. I didn't even notice that it said Swanson. All right, these are.
Jessa, we both got glasses.
Both got glasses. We both got glasses. We both got bikes. We both tried to book a tour at the exact same time.
As you guys know, I forsake comedy. I gave it up. I quit for a month or two, and then I didn't do anything in January, and in February I had one gig. And it was like magical, and I loved it. And I was like, oh my God, of course I'm gonna keep doing comedy. I love it, and I'm so good at it. It was in Salem, Oregon, that theater that you performed at. You remember that place, Jessa?
Yeah. Amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And the comics, they were so nice, and they treat you so good, and the crowd was so nice. And I sold all these. I walk into Salem with a box of t-shirts, which the guy Jay, who makes our t-shirts, the last box he made for us, he just wrote Mormon meth on top of the box, just in big letters. It just says Mormon meth on the box. So I'm walking into Salem, and I have to there's a line of people, and I'm trying to get through them, and there's some dude standing right over my shoulder who's like, that box says Mormon meth on it. What is going on? And then I just opened the show talking about that guy and just riffed about Mormon meth, and it all came back, and it was so fun. And I was like, okay, I'm definitely gonna do this. Let's you know what? I'm gonna book some tours. I'm gonna do it. And I immediately got to work on booking tours, and every place that I was reaching out to, Jessa was already there. Jessa was there at the same time, and I was like, okay, my bad.
I wasn't going. Yeah, I wrote a new hour. I performed it for the first time on January 30th, and then I was like, all right, I'm taking this on the road until September, and then I'm gonna film it. And I got 2 days in before I had to pull the plug on the first leg of the tour because of COVID.
Yeah.
Portland and Tacoma done. And then we were like, and we're done.
And it's over. I know everyone's got a story like this, but 2020 was going to be my year. I was having the first few months of 2020 were so great for me. It's the first year that I had ever made New Year's resolutions. And I was immediately tackling these resolutions and I had spent 2019 wasn't a great year for me. And it was very, I spent a lot of time emotionally figuring things out. And I just felt like I wrapped all of it up in December and was like, I want to be a different person in 2020. Let's do it. And I had reconciled a whole bunch with Tabitha in the beginning of 2020, so much so that I got the new custody schedule that I wanted that would allow me to tour and stuff while having this regular schedule with Ethan. And I started booking my own stuff, and I was believing in myself, and I was like, I'm going to sell my own tickets, and I'm going to do this. And I'm making the advertising for it, and I'm staying productive. I'm exercising. I'm doing all this stuff. And then, I heard whispers of this coronavirus, and I was like, I knew it was a thing. And because I have a lot of friends in Italy, and it was early in the year was wrecking Italy. And so I start paying attention to it more and more. And I know that it's going to come here, but I felt like I kept being maybe, who knows what's up. And then there was the day that the Utah Jazz were supposed to play, was it Oklahoma City? And then they caught the COVID and shut it down. And then 2 days later, there's just and I was like, oh, here goes the whole year. And I knew it right then that the year was done. I knew right then that I was like, there's no way we as a country pull together in the next few months and get through it. I was like, 2 days into this, when they were talking about quarantine, I was like, people will not quarantine. We'll quarantine a little bit, and then we'll be like, it's time to reopen, and then everyone will get sick again, and we'll just keep in this terrible cycle. and that's still what's happening right now in Utah. We have the most cases we've ever had, and it's never going to go away, man.
No. I was having a pretty good 2020. But even into quarantine, things were kind of okay. And then I got bit by a tick in April and deteriorated rapidly, but like didn't know. I fell in love in February with someone who lives in Tennessee, and he was gonna come live in LA part-time, and then COVID happened, and I didn't want to, be trapped in LA in an apartment with my mom. So we went out to Tennessee, and things were cool for like a month, and then I got bit by a tick, and I knew I got bit by a tick because it happened on a live stream, but he's like pulling ticks out of him all the time and seemed fine. So I was like, oh, is Lyme exaggerated? That's cool. And
it's so funny because I've thought about this. I lived in Tennessee for a little bit, and it's nuts what a big part of your life ticks are in Tennessee. Like it was a big thing. It was like every day before bed we had to check ourselves for ticks. And I remember like having to like try different methods of getting, because this tick, when you had to like put nail polish on that tick or use a lighter on that tick, and tick, 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 tick. And then I moved away, and I've never thought about ticks since. I've like never encountered a tick ever outside of that state in my entire life.
Living in the Northeast, I was like aware of them, and Phoenix got bit by a tick at some like 4th of July picnic or something at a golf course. And it is something I used to be very hyper aware of because I knew several people who got their lives wrecked by it. And so ordinarily, if I got bit by a tick, I immediately would have gone to the doctor. But by this point, for weeks, I was just watching Mark just like pull them out of him. He was like vigilant about looking for them, but he had been getting bit by them for 5 years and was like, yeah, if you catch them quick, it's fine. So he pulls it out of my head, which, you know how long in between washing this goes,
I can't pin comments. Can you please pin the TikTok is banned comment? That's really good. That's really good.
TikTok is banned now. Oh, gotcha.
You get it?
Anyway, so I'm half brain dead still, I guess is the gist of that. The attention deficit is now next level, and I probably won't be able to keep up with most of this.
You're doing a great job so far.
So far. There's a question for you.
Oh, already. Okay. Well, yeah, so I started a movies podcast. That was also the start of 2020 when I was just like, let's do it. Let's make it. And I got started on a movie podcast with Danny Dartnell, and it's called Mostly Movies. And it was good. It was good. And then Derek Chauvin kneeled on George Floyd's neck for 8.5 minutes. And Breonna Taylor was murdered in her bed. And I was like, I feel I don't want to talk about movies right now. And for a while I did. Like there were a couple episodes where we just talked about protests, and then we like tried to watch like Spike Lee movies and talk about those and stuff. And like I would keep mentioning, what's going on, because I felt like this is a very important moment, and like we need everyone focused. I felt like it's a waste of a tweet to tweet something other than what's happened like this, because I was like, I don't want anyone's attention taken away from this, and certainly not with like movie shit, right? So anyway, I tried to keep it going a little bit, and then I don't know. At some point I just got really depressed, man, and I just was like, fuck, I don't. You know what? I don't. And it feels great. It felt really great. Jesse, remember how we were like, we have to have we were so professional about Mormon and the Meth-Head. We were like, we'll stay up all night. We will upload this episode during a threesome because we are dedicated to having these episodes out. And for this, I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'm depressed. I'm not gonna upload shit anymore. I do think it's coming back because Danny and Matt Dartnell bought a Mission Impossible box set, and you guys know how much I fucking love the Mission Impossible franchise. I've wanted to do episodes on that, and so I think Danny has found a way to lure me back into the podcast game. She knew that my weakness was Tom Cruise running really fast, and I was like, fine, I'll do it. But it'll be back. I just felt like there's just other shit in the world, and I just didn't feel like talking about movies too much. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, all that, making sure we got the podcast out on the right day and shit. And I never went back to that life. And you can just release it whatever day you want, whenever you feel like it, skip a week. It really doesn't make a difference.
Danny was like, Aaron, it helps me if I have like deadlines to meet. So like it would be cool if we like set up like we're gonna release something on this day. And I was like, oh well, hey, guess what? I'm not interested in having any sort of deadline whatsoever. I don't want to do it. But yeah, it is fun sometimes. I did enjoy that podcast. It was fun to talk with your friends about movies and stuff. But yeah, thank you, Zane.
Some good reviews here. I still do readings. They're not tarot readings anymore. It's jessereed.com. If it looks like I'm booked out till January, it's because I only book a couple days out, since I have to figure out whether or not my brain will be working that week. Imagination project's actually going good. It has to also pause when my brain's not working, but I started a network for people to get woo shit, but services that they need, but also people going to the awakening to get awakening informed mental health professionals. And we created a network for people to get those services for free as well. So that's Imagination Project with a Z instead of a T.com. It's got forums and shit on there too.
Instead of what?
It's Imagination Project, but it's a Z instead of a T.
So there's a Z at the end of project? It's projects?
No, in imagination.
Oh, in imagination. Imagination.
I
was sorry for being stupid. I was imagining a Z at the end. Imagination project.
I only get to be look at this question. No. No way. We actually want to take them down and take the ad stuff out, but that would require one of us to. I can't listen to an episode I did a week ago. Hell no.
No.
I think about existing on the internet.
Absolutely not. Someone asked, what did Jesus think of Scientology? I know it's a typo, but I would love to hear Jesus's thoughts on on Scientology. Scientology freaks me out. I don't like it at all. When in LA, if I drive past the building, ooh, I get like
energy.
Yeah. And listen, Tom Cruise is insane. Tom Cruise is a crazy person, absolutely. And I'm positive he has some weird blood oath with the Scientology. What are they? It's not. He has like a title. It's a strange title, but. The man learned how to fly helicopters so that he could fly a helicopter in a movie. I'm like okay with that level of insanity, I guess. He's the only cult member that I like. Well, and like, you know, my parents and stuff.
We didn't upload a podcast during a threesome. We edited, named, and uploaded a podcast.
Yeah, okay. I was about to say it. Thank you. Just, you know, you tag in and tag out, Ron.
One of my favorite brags of my life at this point was the threesome with the editing of the podcast. This is, I think, about, Kristen said it's having a white male talk about this stuff is important. And then she finished that thought down here.
Yeah, I agree. I just, I don't know. I felt like there were already people talking about it that were like smarter, better equipped to do it than me. And I felt like if I am talking about it, then I'm like, I don't know. I just wanted to direct people elsewhere and just, you know, keep showing up, keep listening. But I get it.
All right. Someone asked, okay.
Oh, yeah, I do. We have reviewed, I think when you say significant series, do you mean like TV series? Because we've done TV series. We did all of *Halt and Catch Fire*. Jessa, have you watched *Halt and Catch Fire*?
I did. I think the first couple seasons.
It's, oh my God, you gotta. I had my friend Josh who was like, Aaron, there's no one who I think will like this series more than you. Please watch it. And I watched it, and God, did I love it. And the day after George Floyd died, I say that because I was already emotional. That's all I mean. I was, you know, you watch that video and it's rough. And I was on season 4 of *Halt and Catch Fire*, and there was an episode that just wrecked me, and I just sobbed. I sobbed like a friend of mine had died. I was so sad. Anyway, we reviewed all that. We were doing Peaky Blinders before I got depressed. There's like, I think, a Peaky Blinders season that we never uploaded, and then I don't know. We were in the middle of that, but yes, we do series as well. That's why I like the term mostly movies, because it's like we can talk about TV as well, and also anything else we want.
Other things on your mind. Soberish is going very well. It's yeah, it's going very well. We did a Soberish meetup right before the shit hit the fan in Phoenix. There were people who were planning, had like a Discord server, and there were people planning a meetup. And then I was like, well, I want to go. And so I did a show in Phoenix, and
were they planning it without you? They were like, we just want to get together and meet up.
Yeah, they all meet up in different cities and stuff. A bunch of people, a few love connections came as a result of that podcast. And then yeah, they were all meeting up in Phoenix, and something told me like this is important, go be there. And then thank God, because this was like the last hang. And so we all hung out there for a few days, and it was like yeah, it was fucking magical. Did a show there with Dan and Karen, and then yeah, and then the fucking pandemic hit. But yeah, Soberish has been life-changing. It's been like 20 years of feeling like I'm the only one of me, and it just kind of provided me with a community. So
that's great.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. It's been fun. I do a lot of episodes by myself. I have a Patreon too, and that has like guests on it, but it's mostly just me annoyingly ranting into a microphone, which people listen to for some reason, which is pretty crazy. Here's Kristen helping you with that.
Imagine a Zion. You were imagining a Zion. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Imagine a Zion. I can do that.
You know what? I don't want to talk about the aliens on here because I was excited about the Mormon and the Meth-Head reunion, and I went and looked at our Mormon and the Meth-Head group, and was like, "Oh, these guys are probably excited." And it was just like a sub-thread of people talking about how I lost my mind.
There was one guy.
People liked it. No, listen though. This is the important.
I almost replied to him though, and it was like, all right, it's canceled. Thanks to Darren, everyone. Everyone say thank you to Darren. We're not doing it. It's over.
Here's the thing I want people to understand. I was this nuts always. For 20 years, I just learned how to live in your world and speak your language while having this what Mormon and the Meth-Head did, and Aaron did, was like encourage me to be myself. Like, I didn't want to put out Jessa Died. I didn't want to put out Alien School. And Aaron was like, this is an interesting thing. This is who you are. Talk about this. And that's what happened, is I learned to come out of the closet and just be myself and let people think I'm crazy if they want to think I'm crazy. And that's the only difference, is now I'm like out of the closet about it. So I hope you feel guilty. Anyway, yeah, we're about to have a revolution, and it's extremely painful, and 2020 is, you know, not fun, but I promise it's going to be good after we overthrow the government.
Aaron, you have to have your Sometimes Not About Movies podcast to go with Jessa's Sometimes Not About Sobriety. When was the last time Jessa's podcast mentioned sobriety, by the way?
Episode 3 or 4.
Yeah, we could do crossover episodes.
Well, no, I think she's saying that you're mostly, because mostly movies was like you wanted a movie podcast, but you wanted to also talk about whatever's on your mind, right? Yeah. So, that's not gonna go. Imagination also has great forums. Sorry,
someone was making jokes about walking into Scientology. Someone said they did walk in. Someone was telling me to take acid and walk in. I want to say they creep me out so much. I will not. I remember my ex-wife being like, let's go in and take one of their little tests, because they like stand out on the sidewalk and they try to get you in. And I was like, grabbed her face and I was like, babe, don't ever walk in. They won't let you out. Like, I'm so afraid that if I go in there, it's donezo. You never come back. Every single person that they have in that cult all started out by walking in and taking a test at some point, and I'm not going to fuck with it. Just like if you tell me this house has poltergeist in it, I'm going to be like, okay, I trust you. I'm not going to go in there.
Okay, man, this is like, let me tell you what, this live chat is popping.
It is popping. It is popping.
You're getting more compliments. I thought that was a bong.
I agree with Juana.
Hell yeah, Nick. Let me know when you're ready. We'll put you in the give you some free advertising in the Imagination Project.
Sweet.
What are they called? Directories. God, I miss my fucking brain. Okay. Please don't take them down. Don't take them down. I don't know what they're talking about. We weren't going to take them down. We were going to take the ads down.
I mean, someday. I mean, I don't know, someday.
Aaron on Acid is my favorite episode ever. That might be one of my favorite.
That one I could re-listen to. There's just lots of really vulnerable episodes that are like things that I don't want to relive. It's like a version of myself that I'm like past in a lot of ways. I don't know. So maybe someday I'll re-listen to it, but it's like you want to hear a dumb story? This is before quarantine. I want to find a girlfriend, and I'm on Bumble. And I go on a date with this girl, and it was like we went out for breakfast, brunch or something one day. And we talked, and it was like, okay. I wasn't that interested. I was like, I think this is going to be a one-date thing. And then I walk her back to her house. I'm in her house for like 1 minute. And I was like, okay, well, goodbye. I'll see you. See ya. And then I feel like she's like, oh, no, he's leaving. And she's like, oh, you were so great. You're so nice. I got to be honest. I wasn't expecting you to be so nice because I listened to your podcast and you're kind of a douchebag. And I was like, and my face just like dropped. And this is like my worst nightmare. My worst nightmare is that like someone went and listened to all this stuff and like found out too much about me and like then meets me in real life and I don't know anything about them. And I'm like, oh God. But never thought that anyone's takeaway was that I was a douchebag. And I was like, what? And then she was like, yeah, I listened to this one episode and you're just a huge douchebag. And I was expecting you to be a real huge douchebag, but then you were actually kind of nice. And
woo, the chemistry.
Oh my God, holy shit. And then I went home and I was like, I'm going to listen to that episode and see if I sound like a douchebag. And I made it like a few minutes into that episode, and I was like, I'm not going to listen to it. Actually, this hurts too much. I don't want to. But I don't think I was a douchebag. I tried to set up lamps to now that the sun has set, getting the lighting all good for you guys. Steamy. I like it. I don't like it actually, but we're working on it.
Carly, I think most of the mental health professionals work via Zoom. I think everyone else works via phone. I don't know what that means. Yeah, we definitely weren't taking Mormon and Meth-Head down. We were talking about putting it onto a different. All right.
That poor Uber guy.
That fucking.
I was just re-listening to that story. Actually, when I was cutting the promo for this, I wanted to find a clip of Jessa laughing really long, like a nice long cackle. And I was like, what episode should I try? Acid. And I listened to that one. I didn't end up getting a good cackle from there. The cackle from the promo, for those sharp-eared listeners, yes, you're correct, is the Greyhound bus episode. And there are lots of, that's like the funniest thing that's ever happened. The funniest sequence of events. And I had forgotten about the woman who just walked past the line of people.
Oh, God. What is your name? Will haunt me for the rest of my life. Now I know that I was activated. Now that I know how my childhood trauma shows up in my life and can feel my feelings, I felt very unwanted on that bus. And I was very tuned into how much the man I sat next to did not want me there and how that short-circuited me. And then I couldn't even like access my thoughts or remember the name on my suitcase. Man, I think Mormon and the Meth-Head was a cool, like, accounting of my journey from not knowing I had any feelings and spiritually bypassing everything and existing only in the mental space and rejecting things in other people that I didn't want to see in myself. And that's beautiful that it exists somewhere, but it makes me cringe to think, everything before a duffel bag of feelings. I'm just like, It's anyone who knows me now, because I'm an emotional mess openly on a regular basis, I think would be surprised to hear that. Thank you, Kelly. I do think it's interesting that we spent the end of the podcast talking about the end times. You know what I mean?
Yes. Don't these end times suck? These are the worst. There's like nothing cool about these end times. Nothing at all. Oh my God. Do you remember when Australia was on fire and we were like, man, what a rough start to the year. And it's just, I've never been sad when celebrities died. I was surprised at how sad I was about Kobe Bryant dying. It was like, cause it was with his daughter and like other parents and their kids. And it's just, and we were like, man, 2020 sucks. God, this year sucks. And we had no clue. We would all go back to January right now. We're going to be like, sure, let's do it. We have no plans. We have no plans to do, anything. So, I mean, we'll probably do something like this again, but
I pitched a weekly Patreon episode because I like to have way too many things on my plate. But earlier in the pandemic, because I don't know, do you think comedy's coming back?
Society has progressed past the need for
Yeah.
stand-up comedy. I mean, it really hasn't like gone anywhere. Like comics are still going to comedy clubs right now during COVID-19 and just performing. I feel like I don't no knock on a working comic because I feel like everybody's got to make a living, and it's been really scary not to have an income. And but it's just like weird. Speaking of which, if you wanna contribute to the tip jar, pretend that this was a show. We came to your town to come do an Aaron Woodall and Jessa Reed show. How much would you pay for that? Probably $1 million. So I I made these dumb cards, so I'm gonna keep using them throughout. Hope you guys are okay with that. I don't know. It's really funny throughout quarantine to watch comics cry about how much they miss stand-up comedy without like really understanding what they're saying. They're all just like, ah, man, listen, I know there's more important things going on in the world right now, but I just, you know what? Gosh darn it, I do miss being the center of attention for hundreds of strangers on a weekly basis where no one is allowed to talk but me, and they only laud me with their laughter. And as I present my most ideal version of myself and am perceived exactly the way that I want to be perceived, and then try to bang one of them afterwards. Gosh, I miss that so much. My therapist told me that it's okay to mourn the things that we have lost. So I am mourning my best outlet for narcissism. I miss it. I miss, anyway.
No, I think we got everything that we could get out of the week of. I don't think we're going to top the last one.
Yeah, I don't know how we could either. Also, Week in Sex should do our podcast is what they should do.
Mm-hmm.
But if stand-up comedy is dead, you guys should. Oh, you missed my funny rants. Thank you. Top shelf rant. Yes, it's so weird when there's no. I can't tell if you guys are laughing or enjoying or not. Jessa, I was looking at this comment earlier. Isn't that so sweet?
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln, that does sound like a beautiful memory. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. I mean, yeah, no, it was very hard. It was a live journal of an extremely difficult time in our lives, I guess. But yeah, I don't have an answer.
I'll say something. Oh, Miss Reed, I feel like you going to the bathroom? She put me full screen whenever she had to pee. Jesse, you would talk about like how you were a different person every 5 years, and you would do something up until the point when you were not supposed to do it anymore, and then you just let go, which was something that I was very. I'm not like that. And I mean, we talked about like diverging paths and just letting things go. And Mormon and the Meth-Head just felt like I've never been more like, I'm positive we were supposed to let go because I've never missed it. I was like, I loved it while we did it. And I think it served a good purpose for both of us. And then it was like beautiful to watch other people be the beneficiaries to benefit from the stuff that we were going through. And it was like, I mean, the first time in my life I had fans, and we were like, it was great until it wasn't, and it was just like time to let it go. And since then, I haven't missed it, man. Also, I've just been inside my fucking house. It was a really bad year to quit a profitable podcast. I was like, if only I still was a podcaster, then maybe this year would be not so bad. But other than the monthly Patreon check, I haven't really missed it though.
I guess I'm thinking, do you guys remember Mormon and the Meth-Head fondly? Because yeah, no, I don't. I think it was a story. We were telling a story, and we had told that story, and the last couple of months felt like we were filling time.
We were. There were lots of episodes where we were just like, we didn't know what to do anymore.
It was almost like Mormon and the Meth-Head was a thing that was supposed to be created, and there was a sensation between us that it didn't feel optional to go separate ways, even when it was super hard. It just, I don't know, there was like, we were on a track together, and then those paths were diverging, and you could see it in the content and in the chemistry. And you know, yeah, I don't miss it. I rarely miss things once they're out of my view, but I fondly remember it.
Just for the Mormon aspect of it, which, you know, like when we started, Jessa's so far removed from her addiction, right? But we are doing these parallels between recovering from a drug addiction, recovering from a toxic religion, right? And Jessa's like recalling all this stuff, but for me, it was like very fresh. And I'm like, currently, you listen to me as I currently work through the feelings of leaving this church. And at the beginning of the podcast, we talk about how I don't even say ex-Mormon. I'm still calling myself Mormon. And that's how I felt. And I wanted to talk about it. And I had lots of things to talk about. And I had lots of strong feelings. By the end of the podcast, I was definitely ex-Mormon, and I didn't call myself Mormon anymore. And right now, I don't even think about it. And I don't, like, I couldn't, towards the end of the podcast was hard because I was no longer interested. We were like branching off into different subjects because I was no longer interested in the subject that we had started out on. I'd already said everything I needed to say about the religion and leaving it. There wasn't like much more to do. And like this year, I mean, I feel so much further removed from it. I mean, I still live in Utah, and I still, you know, see ex-Mormon Twitter and stuff, but like it's way more distant to me now.
Yeah, I feel like Soberish and Alien School and everything that came with that was this thing that Imagination Project were all things that I wanted to do for 20 years, and it just wasn't time yet. And it felt like Mormon and the Meth-Head was like this healing, and then brought me here, and then so then I could carry on and do this other thing. Which is more accurate to where my mind's at now. But yeah, fond memories. I'm glad we did it, but
me too.
Dun, dun, dun. All right.
So I have like one thing that Jessa tried to teach me. I don't know if I learned it yet, but I am in the process of learning it. Is letting go when you're supposed to let go of things. And I'm glad that we let go. I'm glad that we didn't hold on any longer. It was nice that we ended at 100 episodes on the last day of the year. And it was just like nice. It was perfect timing.
With like almost 2 years to the day that we recorded the first episode, there was a lot of poetry in all of that. I'm assuming that's for you.
We can both answer it. I don't like spirituality anymore. I don't deal with it too much. I think a lot of what like towards the end of the podcast, I'm like scared of a lot of the things that we're talking about, because it all feels, I'm like Mormonism. I think we talked about this a bunch. Jessa would talk about me and Danny this way. Like the guy who's like, oh, my heart was broken by a girl and now I can never love again. I'm too scared, but with a religion is how a lot of like ex-Mormons are. I mean, not every, a lot of ex-Mormons just funnel it straight into another form of spirituality. And I couldn't do that. I was like way too scared of doing that. So I keep it all to myself. And I'm like, that's it. What about you, Jess?
A lot of it's crazier than it ever was. A lot of it's more balanced than it ever was. Integrating my emotional body has definitely changed things quite a bit. Weirdly, a lot of my work now is around codependency and interdependence. And I did not realize at the time that this journey I was having with codependency was like then going to merge with the spirituality stuff, but it's kind of this like seeking something outside of yourself. But
are the bids already happening, Gabe? We have our very best friend, Gabe. He took all of our photos ever. Like any photo of us was taken by this very talented man. And he said he was going to auction off some props of ours on eBay. So check it out. Were you able to put the link in there, Gabe? Link. He says he's got the tiara. He's got the Kolob sign, the bike helmets. If you guys want to place bids on a piece of Mormon and the Meth-Head memorabilia, wow, you can't beat that, man.
I'm making sure I didn't miss. How's Aubrey Plaza doing these days? Much better, much better. I've learned a lot about attachment damage and more about codependency, about activations, about staying awake during activations, about trauma bonds. I haven't shut the fuck up about any of this stuff, but I've learned quite a few hacks for not letting unhealed parts of myself take over. No, we haven't.
No.
We're in different states.
This is the most we've seen each other is just like on a Marco Polo or this.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wait, can I talk about Woodall Loan?
Yes, hold on. Yeah, you do that.
That was another way that I was doing really well before all this started. In one of the final episodes, I mean, it's towards the tail end. We talk about it's epic fails, I think is the episode. And I talk about how I tried to record an album and then I fucked it up. And I was like, maybe one day I'll get broke enough and I'll do it. And I did. That happened. I was like, I wasn't doing any shows and I was like, I got to put this album out. And the thing is, it's great. It is like one of the best things I've ever made. I'm actually proud of it. It's really cool. I ended up switching just to audio because when I did that, it allowed me to cut out parts and stitch things together in a way that I couldn't with video, and I could make it sound better. And so it's technically a mixtape. I combined two different recordings, and so it's like it's fucking long too. It's like an hour and 20 minutes. And I had a fan who I met in Salem in February. She's a musician, and she made the music for it. And then I had my brother record fake voicemails because I wanted it to sound like a rap album where their family members are calling them and telling them how proud they are of them. I was also trying to trick my brother into complimenting me. And it came out fantastic. And I was really proud of it. And I never got to tell you about it. So I will. If you wanted to listen to it, I would send it to you too.
I'll put that link back up in a second. People said nice things about how we left.
You mean the yeah.
Thank you.
Dude, the tiara's already up to $45. How to heal without the podcast now? Just
ridiculous.
It's actually so much better. The podcast was kind of a bulky and unnecessary step. Well, what about you, Jess?
I'm still pretty publicly. I don't do it the way we did it. It was so raw on Mormon and the Meth-Head, but I still soberish is quite a bit about my journey with interdependence and like hacking my trauma and stuff. So I still kind of do it. It was actually kind of traumatizing the way we did it on Mormon and the Meth-Head. So it's actually much easier to not do that.
I just was telling a friend about this. I'm going to keep talking about that other thing. I just vocalized it the other day, and I said it really well. I don't know if I can say it again, but I felt at that time just a way that I changed, that I'm different now. When I was doing Mormon and the Meth-Head, I felt like the vulnerability was a virtue. And I think that it is. I think that vulnerability is a virtue, but I think that like anything could be done to an unhealthy extreme. And when I think about stuff that I said on the podcast, and like I was being vulnerable with 1,000 strangers who had, no offense, guys, done nothing to earn that vulnerability. They hadn't, done anything to prove that I was safe with them, And so I'm just like bleeding on everybody, like everywhere on everybody, and telling everyone every single personal thought that I have. And I no longer operate that way. I've learned that I was like, oh, that actually doesn't feel very good. And I actually think that it's a coping mechanism in a way where I'm trying to cope somehow, and I convinced myself that this was a very healthy thing to do. But I don't regret it, because that the stuff that we shared, such intimate stuff that we shared, was so helpful for so many people, and that was like part of the point, But I don't do that anymore. I'm much more private, and it doesn't feel bad. I feel much healthier and stronger. I'm and I'm much better at like taking care of myself and working through my own feelings, which thank God I did that before 2020. Like I still have gotten depressed a bunch during this year, but I've thought every time, I'm like, if I hadn't sorted through everything I did in 2019, dear God, how much worse would it have been to just be alone in this apartment by myself? It would have been terrible.
Yeah, I think everyone who did the like 2017 to 2020 like death process, emotional rebirth process, was in a little bit better of a position for that. Peter, I don't think so. Maybe. I mean, anything could happen, but I think we're
I always thought that we would like open for each other again someday or something, like, but now stand-up comedy's dead. But I always thought when you recorded that hour Netflix special that I'd come warm up the crowd and get to watch you do it. And
I am actually doing that, and I had considered asking you if you want to come down and do that. I thought that might be, because it's quite a bit of crossover in the.
I've also always planned on speaking at Jessa's Mark Twain Award acceptance ceremony. I'm going to give one of the speeches, so we have that in the future.
Are you talking about this being? That is Atlantean Man. That is my only piece of art in this house.
Let's give it up for Jessica getting some art in her. Oh my God, we both got art in our house. Can I show my art?
Mm-hmm.
It's just Blade Runner.
Oh, appropriate.
Because I'm a big child. But there's some Blade Runner 2049 art. And if that wasn't enough, I have more Blade Runner 2049 art. And then I got some Mad Max Fury Road art. Oh, it's so sick. This, a fan of the podcast, is a really cool artist. You can look him up under Dick Jones. This thing is backwards. Anyway, he gave me a bunch of cool art stuff, and this is one thing that he did. He's really tight, and he's involved a lot in the Salt Lake activist scene. And when I was going out to this protest one time, he was like, hey, can I meet you and give you a bunch of stuff? And I was like, okay. And it was great.
That's awesome. We got such cool art from people during the podcast.
Oh yeah, check this. Check. You want to see what's inside my closet? So I got a new room this year. This is the first time that I don't share a room with Ethan, guys, and it's very exciting. And I took a lesson from my friend Danny Dartnell, and I wanted to nest and make this space my own. And I got plants. I got some plants in my. I still need one more to go on the top of this thing. One of those, droopy down plants or whatever. Anyway, I made my closet a nice happy space, and I got this. This is maybe my favorite piece of art that anybody ever gave us. I love this thing. It's cool. I won't show you the rest of the closet because that's for me. It's my special space.
Private now. Yeah, probably.
Well, of course we did. You guys were gonna miss us. Of course, it was easier for us.
Yes. I don't think I predicted it on Mormon and the Meth-Head, but on Soberish, I said that there was a glitter that was about to hit the planet that was going to force everybody to face their worst nightmares. Glitter. Glitter is what I thought it was going to be.
Oh yeah.
Listen to Soberish.
Someone asked about Dune. I am excited for Dune. I'm avoiding the trailer. I want to see how long I can go without watching the trailer because I know so little about Dune. I know that there's sandworms, and that's like all that I know. I've never watched the old one. I never read the book. I don't know anything about it, but I'm 100% seeing this movie. And like, it's so fun to go into a movie knowing nothing, and it's very hard to do. And here's like a movie where I'm like, I'm going to try to go in knowing as little as possible. So please keep Dune spoilers out of the comments, please.
Hold on.
Ashley and Marshall. Ashley, I'm telling you here, I waved to your friend's mom just today. I took a little bike ride. Can I say I didn't think that I missed. I don't know. Here's what I'm trying to say. I got like a lot of anxious energy, like excited anxious energy for this. And today I did like my whole routine that I would do before a stand-up show. And I was like, I had all that same energy. And part of that was like an exercise. I went for a nice bike ride to just get my energy out. And I didn't make it all the way down to your house. I turned around at 1700, but I waved to your friend's mom, I think. Or maybe it's just some other lady, because I don't know. Anyway, I take it back. I wish I hadn't said anything. But I did wave at some lady who I thought was your friend's mom. And I was like, if she's in the live stream, I'll tell her that. And now I did.
Ashley's the person that I met 3 times in one night. Social anxiety, man. The social anxiety is so much worse now that I being locked in my house is ideal for me. And so now when I go out, it's so much worse.
Oh yeah, weren't you saying that you were this just happened? That you went outside and you were a freak show?
Yeah. A friend wanted to go eat in public, which I feel is unnecessary. And then I'm not gonna plug my Venmo. We got Aaron's Venmo here.
Yeah, it's just simpler. But yeah, if you guys are enjoying the show, we said a $5 suggested donation for watching the show, but you can also throw in tips whenever we make you laugh or whenever you're like, oh my God, I miss her so much. Throw it in there. If you're international, we got these other options.
It's so much worse now since the tick bite. I really can't see shit ever.
What do you use your glasses for? For seeing far away or seeing up close?
I was using them for I had to get them for live streams before I got a desktop to see the chat on my laptop. And then I was like, oh, I can actually see everything better because they're just reading glasses. And then I was wearing them kind of constantly. And then I got the first round of antibiotics and I stopped wearing them and I just had to start wearing them again.
Would you pin Lipticism's comment?
Just, yeah.
Yeah. That's a friend who I met in Salem and who did the music for Woodall Alone. And you can go check out her channel, her Spotify. Yeah, but I feel like if you click on her there, you'll find. Anyway, she's great. She's really great.
What happened? Oh. Keep shilling.
I'm trying. I feel bad. I feel weird about it. Don't make fun of me, guys. I'm trying my best, but I
crazy. I don't think it's crazy.
Do this for money, so.
And obviously, if you don't have it, don't do it.
Yeah, if you are still waiting for your unemployment to come, don't worry. We're happy to have you here. You know.
We wanted to do this in a way that everyone would have access to it, and the people. This is the new economy. If you have money, throw it. If you don't, don't. Oh, thank you, Nick. I still have not seen The Truman Show. I have a 2-second. 2-second long attention span now. That's funny. I haven't seen anything new. One thing I miss is Aaron to tell me when things seem like they might be about ascension.
Someone also asked if we still think about each other, and it is when I watch things and I go, that could be ascension. Maybe Jessa would like it.
I've been scrolling past every question like that. And here we go.
But I saw. Don't tell anybody. I saw Tenet. I went to Tenet. Don't judge me, but I went to Tenet, and in the beginning, there's some stuff where I was like, oh, okay, maybe. But then they just drop it completely. The whole movie is, I'll save it I'll do a review on mostly movies about it. But it was ambitious. But TV shows. Are
you about to wash your hair?
Yeah, what am I doing? I'm anxious and I started picking at it with my hand. I meant to get everything away from me to stop. But TV shows. I just started watching. Oh, for number one, Lovecraft Country is sick. And the last episode of Lovecraft Country, oh my fucking God. Is anyone else watching that? Because I can't talk about it. I don't want to spoil anything. But if you're watching it, that last episode, there was maybe the best moment so far of the series, and it was set to Cardi B and Jessa. It was good. Also on HBO is The Vow that I started watching, and it's about cults. It's about a Hollywood sex cult. And I just can't believe when I watch that guy, I'm like, that's Joseph Smith. That's him. I can't believe that all cults are the same. They all just do the exact same shit. No, but you don't even have to like reinvent the playbook. You just keep doing the same thing.
No. So a couple things coming into focus because they're everywhere. If the government tells you that the aliens have showed up and that they are an external enemy and that they need to protect you from it, that is bullshit. So if that happens, do not believe them. The government is not protecting you from anything. They create false adversaries and pretend to protect you from it. And you can follow me on social media and I'll give you galactic instructions should that happen. The OA, I missed the OA. Did you ever finish the OA?
Fuck no, I didn't. I just season 2 was better than season 1. Maybe only fans of me brushing my hair while reviewing movies.
I was going to say there are people that would like to see you brush your hair. So I guess if you want to watch Aaron brush his hair.
You know the last time I cut my hair was, Jessa? At Big Sky. Remember when I got the free haircut at Big Sky?
You haven't cut it since then?
Mm-mm.
Damn. Okay, some things we were going to talk about. Aaron Woodall, I want to talk to you about The Pattern, the app, The Pattern. I want you to download it. Everyone else, The Pattern is probably an astrology app, but it is, especially if you're into personal growth and ascension type stuff. It's not very woo at all. It just weirdly knows exactly what phase of your life it is. I looked up the phase where we were in each other's lives, and it said it was that phase of my life was about me learning how to deal with masculine energy in masculine people and in myself. Fucking weird. It when you go through the phases, it has like your patterns. And then it has the phases of life that you're in. You can go back in time. I looked up like when Jason and I split and it was like massive life changes, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they're starting a dating app, which is brilliant. This is, I actually said this on Twitter. They obviously stole the idea from me. But when you, they're beta testing this thing called bonds on it. And when you click you and another person and then you hit run the bond and then it spins your pictures around in a circle and then tells you everything about the bond. It reminds me of Hang the DJ so much.
Ah, my favorite Black Mirror episode.
My favorite Black Mirror episode.
And will that tell you like your bond is unique or
there's like
chaotic.
You can run it as friends or romantic. Yeah, it'll tell you if it's going to be hard. It'll tell you if this person is in your life to like teach you karmic lessons. It'll tell you if you know them from past lives, if you're into that sort of thing. It'll mostly tell you like this person triggers this in you. They're here in your life to teach you this. This relationship probably won't last, blah, 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 but you can get this from it. When it's good, it's this. When you're triggered, it's this. Yeah, it's really interesting. But when I clicked on the run the bond thing, it's only a couple weeks old. I was like, oh my God, this is Hang the DJ. Because you can kind of discern from it, like, how long is this going to last? Now imagine having that in a fucking dating app. That's crazy. The future.
The future.
I can't brush this. This doesn't.
The greatest thing about quarantine is that I finally grew my hair out. I'd always say that I wanted to try it, and then you get to that point where it's just like a little ugly, and I'm like, I'm just going to cut it all off. And now I have this, and it's fantastic.
The Pattern really does owe me money for the amount of free advertising I've given them. Shane, you're so fucking funny. I was just thinking the other day about how funny I am on readings with certain people without even like, I just like, as soon as I get on the phone, their energy just makes me funny. And this is one of them. Yes, The Pattern will attack you. Just like 9 o'clock in the morning. The pattern is like, hey, by the way, you tend to pretend not to be vulnerable, and that creates this. It's very Gabe is a fan of the pattern.
Gabe, let us know how the bidding is going. I want to know if we can, who's winning the tiara, who's winning Kolob sign.
Okay.
Someone asked about the Mormon of the Meth-Head paywall, referring to Patreon. It is still there. We do still have some patrons. Like every month, someone will sign up for it, and you just have to like pay $10, and then I think you have access to everything. But I could be wrong. I am not quite sure.
$5 will give you the last 4 episodes, and $10 will give you the entire backlog. People really like the hair, man.
I know. I was so anxious about my hair. Someone said it was a good plot today. I was like, I'm mad. The only thing I'm maddest about 2020 is that I look so good and I'm inside. I like bought new clothes. I have like a summer what's the word for lots of outfits? What's it? Yeah, like what do you say when you've got a wardrobe? Thank you. Wardrobe. I had a beautiful summer wardrobe. My face looks great and no one could see it. So I'm like, tonight for the live stream, my hair's gotta be good. It's gotta be. And so glad that it was. Thank you guys.
No, 30 people are gonna say wardrobe. What do we got here?
Thank you.
We both moved. I've moved many times since quarantine.
Very Jessa of you.
Very Jessa. I went out to Tennessee not knowing if this was going to be, because I knew there was some apocalypse coming. I just didn't know if we were going to go full martial law or what. So I just grabbed the kids and a couple suitcases and was like, this might be a couple weeks, whatever. And I went out to Tennessee. And then after about a month, I was like, oh, this is going to last for a while. So I moved out of my apartment. We drove across the country, put my stuff in storage, drove back across the country, immediately got bit by a tick. My health declined. By July, I was just like, why am I always laying down? I couldn't do readings anymore. I have no idea how I still have patrons because they were just paying for like an hour of me staring at a ceiling.
That's so nice of them.
Huh?
I said, that's so nice of them.
So nice of them. I mean, there were definitely people complaining, but I thought all these things were like individual things. Like I was like, my back hurts, my knees, I couldn't lift anything. I was like, man, 43 is crazy. And then when I first got to the house, I was like working all the time, and I was like a ball of energy. When I lived in LA, I had to do like a dance party in the afternoon to like burn off energy. And now I was just like laying down all the time. So then I was like, I have to get out of here. And on my way out of town, I found out I had strep C because I had been in bed for 2 weeks, very sick. And I got the antibiotics and I was like, I'm moving to Arizona. I can't live in this climate. And so I just hopped in my car and drove to Arizona and stayed in a hotel for a minute till I found a house. And now I'm going back to Tennessee for a couple months. My car has so many miles on it.
Oh man, I moved rooms. I have a quarantine injury. Not for you got bit by a tick and got Lyme's disease. I have what's referred to as masturbator's elbow, and it's a real problem. So really, all right. So I'm pretty sure that it's from boxing. That I overextended on a jab, and it just like, oh, there's pain. There's like nerve pain right here in my elbow, and it's been a problem for months now. I've seen a massage therapist 3 times, and she just like fucks my arm up and tries to get this. She said that this muscle right here felt like a steel cable, and it was just like rock solid, and it hurts all the time. And so I was talking to my doctor. She told me I might need to go see a doctor, get a steroid shot to loosen muscles up. I talked to my doctor friend, Andres Malaputi. You guys might remember him, friend of the podcast, Andres Malaputi. And I was like, what do you think? And he was like, see a physical therapist first. I was like, okay. And then he said, pay attention to any activities that like you do where you're using that muscle and it's hurting, because you might just have to like avoid any. And he's like, it could be a small thing, and you might have. And I was like, stop! I already know what it is. It's when I lay in bed and jerk off. I hold my phone in this hand, and I can feel my arm getting worse the whole time I'm jerking off, and I'm just like, this is the only way I can have serotonin, though. So I just keep doing it, and it's very sad, pathetic, but it's the truth.
Are you breaking your pre-core numbers?
Oh God, yeah.
Really?
Wow, and like those were already high numbers, you know. They were already admirable numbers, and now they're just unhealthy. They're just really bad. I should fight the new drug is what I should do.
Yeah. Aaron was late to filming a project we were doing because he was fixing his hair, and it was so on brand. Well, he was late because he couldn't get his arm up to fix his hair. Shorts.
I did a Zoom play thing with Liz, and it was really fun. There was like the Utah Fringe Fest was all online this year, and she wrote this really cool Zoom production, and we did it, and it was fun. And I did. My hair looked bad, I thought. When I watched it, Liz, I was like, oh, my hair looks bad. I wish I had spent more time on it. Wait.
I was going to say this. We should get, they have things.
Yeah, I guess so. But so Andres asked me this last night, and I said I've literally never, ever, ever, ever come from my other hand. But also, I would still be using this elbow if I switched hands. What the fuck? Wait a minute. Alana says, the only other person I know with a masturbator elbow injury, which, first of all, I'm glad that there's someone else out there. I thought they were going to do a case study on me. But the person has my same astrology chart. Wow. Also, how do you know that? Why do you know what my Mercury and Venus are? Joseph is killing it in the comments tonight. Joseph. Listen, let's drop Joseph's Venmo. And somebody tip Joseph for the quality content that he has.
Joseph is actually who put together the Soberish meetup that I was talking about.
Really? Well done.
Into the Woo. Into the Woo. But yeah, he's hilarious in the wow, same sun, moon.
I don't know how she knows that. She's just saying shit. Okay.
Virgo, Pisces, and Scorpio.
Millie says I just have to type in phone holder for bed and I'll find something. I hate it when someone just points out a very obvious. What is a vajankle?
I think it is a foot that you can fuck. I saw one on the internet that is a boob on a boob, and then it's a vagina and a butthole on the other side. And I haven't stopped thinking about / talking about it in like a month.
Jesus. Okay. Now I can see why people are typing in what the fuck. Do you want to talk about how much we love bicycles?
Yeah.
Jess and I used to take bike rides together, and I did jokes about what a Mormon and a Meth-Head have in common, and I would talk about how we both love bicycles. And I met with Sacramento, that we like rented bikes and just rode around and had a great time. We did it in Portland. Yeah, we would do it, and it was fun. I haven't owned my own bike for years. And then we were just like a little bit into quarantine, and man, remember how bad the beginning of quarantine was? Now I feel like we're pros at it. But in the beginning, I feel just like do you guys remember being horny in March? And we thought like, this is the maximum horny we could ever be. And like, how can I live inside? And then we just did. Anyway, it was in the beginning of quarantine, and Ethan had a really bad day. And Ethan was having like behavior that he usually doesn't have, you know, you could tell that he was struggling. And he cried. He broke down and he cried. And he said like he missed his friends and stuff. And I felt so bad for him. And earlier in the day, he had told me he wished I had a bike. But he says shit all the time, like, oh, Dad, I wish we had a Ferrari or something. And I'm like, cool. He was like, I wish you had a bike and we could go on bike rides together. And then I put him to bed after he was crying, and I was so heartbroken that I was like, I'm getting a bike right now. And I got on Facebook Marketplace, and I typed in bike, and I bought the cheapest bike that I could find. And then my whole life changed. I went for a ride that night, and I was listening to Rihanna's Same Old Mistakes as I'm riding my bike, and she says, I feel like a brand new person. And I did, Jessa. I felt baptized by the bicycle. I found my outlet for quarantine. And I would just go on bike rides in the middle of the night. And it felt so good to be like outside again. And it was like perfect, cool spring evenings, you know. And I'm just cruising around Salt Lake City on this bike. That's my new spirituality, actually. That's it, as the religion of bike rides in the middle of the night. They're magical.
I was not putting together the 300 symptoms I was having. And at one point I was like, I'm not physically active enough. I need to be doing cardio. The house is way out in the fucking country, you know? And so I just, there was about 12 seconds in between me going, how can I do some cardio? I need a bike. And then I was just like, Mark's like, where are you going? And I was like, I need to go buy a bike. And then I just came back with a bike. And then I was like, I don't know where you drive this in the country. Yeah, I found a bike path nearby and was going on bike rides, but I forgot how much I don't. And then we would go on like bike rides together. But, you know, I just like to put my headphones in and then forget the world exists. You know, it's like, do you want to come on a bike ride with me so that I can, which was like our thing. We just be like, let's ride in the same city and shut the world out. But yeah, then I drove it here from Phoenix. Phoenix is like down to 106 degrees now. So, and the tire got flat, and I don't know how long it'll stay like that.
I have headphones on, and I love like riding through an intersection in the middle of the street with my headphones on, and I'm like dancing. I'm not holding the handlebars. I'm just dancing and just stunning on this entire city and letting them know that I'm the main character here. This movie's about me. It's nice. I also in those early days when I first was taking those bike rides, Jessa.
Cautionary tale.
Say what?
Oh, it's cautionary tale to the comment here. Go ahead. The early days of the.
Oh, I don't know. Everyone always reacts strangely when I tell them this, but I don't know what to do. But tell everyone awkward things, I guess. I started like I don't know. See, I started closing my eyes and riding through red lights because it's like the middle of the night and it's like Salt Lake City. There's not much traffic. Feel like, you know, but there's the danger. There's the danger of it. And I would have my hands off the handlebar and just like ride through a red light. And I was like a thrill seeker. Like you feel energized. Like when people jump out of planes or whatever, you're like, fuck, I could have died. I could have died. And it felt great. It felt so good to be alive again.
I would definitely hit a pole.
If you fucked an ankle?
The sub conversation going. What else do we got? Tiny houses? What was that about?
You're building tiny houses, I thought.
Oh.
If you wanted to tell, it was just like writing a list of things that we've been up to. And, you know, it's like, Jess is trying to change the world with tiny houses, and I am masturbating so much I've injured myself. So
I I want to, I think we're going to overthrow the government by building new systems. I think it's a great time to just build new shit, build new infrastructure, and just pretend like they don't exist as much as possible. So a lot of people are buying up land and building. I'm like, what if we just built people houses and fucking gave away houses? Like, can they stop that? So that has been nerding out. Mark's been nerding out on building sustainable housing before he met me, and I've been nerding out on the legal side of it. Like, what can we get away with? Like, we just just buy big chunks of land and just build sustainable off the grid housing for the homeless. Like, can they? I don't think they can stop that. Can they stop that? So that's what I'm
familiar with America, but I mean, yeah, they absolutely can. They can do that, but I hope they don't. But
they feel, to me, I have never thought
they have a long and storied history of taking land from other people. So they can and will do it. But I hope they don't.
Less tiny houses, more aircrete. If you guys want to look into building sustainable housing, there's a bunch of different, there's like Earthbag. This is one of these things where I know very little and I'm going to sound like an expert, but I don't sound like an expert on anything anymore because my brain doesn't work. But aircrete is fucking concrete, but they put a foaming agent in it. So that's like concrete, as strong as concrete, more insulated because it has all this, these air bubbles in it, but you can like cut it with a saw and they're super light bricks and it's super cheap. And so people are building houses that withstand the, what is that called? The weather, the elements, for like a couple grand. So, yeah. Soberish is all about 5D. We're 5D, 6D, heading into 7D. Soberish is the place for that.
Yeah, I saw that comment. That made me laugh, Anna. Also, scroll up a little bit, Jessa. There's a comment about my friend, Julia R. My friend is on his mission. Posted a pic wearing the same thing Aaron is wearing in the MATM icon. Does that include the belt around his bicep and the needle in his arm?
I think the one where we're looking into the door, right?
That one? That makes more sense. Still concerned for your friend. Concerned for anyone on a mission, honestly.
Yeah, the empty office building. Here's my thoughts. Is these people fucking suck, and I'm sick of asking these people for shit. So what can we do to just cut them out and fucking pool our resources and help get people the things that they need, which was you know, a lot of the idea behind Imagination Project. Like, fuck these insurance companies and everything else. Can the people who have money help put in money so that people can get the mental health services that they need? And then we'll get doctors involved. And then, you know, like, so that's where my head's at. Fuck asking them for shit. And maybe if we go out to the country, they'll be less likely to fuck with us. If they do fuck with us, you know. I know magic.
Thank you.
Vajankle is one of the funniest words.
It's a very funny word. You've got 3 great funny sounds in it.
Yeah.
All combined into one.
It's a favorite word of mine. Earthships are very interesting. Earthbags feel like so much work to me. I love the idea of bricks that you can hold with one hand. Yeah, okay, so this is also the thing that I shouldn't say on YouTube. They're all a little bit distracted right now with the COVID. You know what I mean? I just feel like if you wanted to, you know, skip some permit stuff, this is maybe a great time. I don't know. Don't ever take my advice because I'm managed to get away with a bunch of shit. Speaking of getting away with shit, have you been hypothetically shoplifting, Mr. Woodall?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Wait, do you guys guess? You guys guess what's the most expensive thing that I've stolen from my local grocery store? But I'll tell you that I steal something every time that I go there, except I had a friend talk to me about Target recently and say that like they watch you steal shit from Target but won't ever stop you until you steal like enough money that they can prosecute you at a certain level. And then I started getting nervous. I'm like, what if Smith's does know how much I'm taking and they're counting up every single wedge of cheese that I'm sneaking out of the store? So anyway, but it's how I got by, man. I had to go grocery shop. I didn't have any fucking money. I'm just like putting everything on credit cards during most of quarantine. Just and so I would go grocery shopping, and I would just like I make sure to take a few things. I would take you're just all doing self checkout. It's so easy. And I just always made sure to get something for free.
I went to Target when I first moved here with Dan Donahue, Human Saint, Dan Donahue, comedian from LA. Did you see the story about them putting boulders out under these rich?
Yeah, fucking assholes.
Dan and a bunch of other LA comics were out there moving the boulders in the middle. I fucking love it so much. I love it so much. Anyway, I was with Dan. We went to Target. I needed an end table for my bed. And I put it in the cart. I wheeled the cart up to the front, and then she checked out my stuff. And then like a complete asshole, I was like, oh, you didn't charge me for that. And she even looked at me like, are you dumb? And then for the rest of the day, just like steeped in regret that I could have gotten that. Oh, you didn't answer this.
Wait. Yeah. That comment, that's actually nice. I have thought about, I want to do something for the revolution. I want to change this world and make it into a better world. And I've wondered, how can I best be of service? And one thing I've been very frustrated with that I feel like I might be able to help with is the media. I can't believe how much the media just wants to help police. They're just like, I tweeted this the other day, like if a journalist had a source that lied to them as often and as consistently as the police do, they would have stopped using this source years ago. But instead, they dutifully print every single word the cops tell them, and even use language that makes it that benefits the cops. And I don't get it at all. And I actually got, so on the May 30th protest, I don't know if you guys were protesting your city, Salt Lake popped off a little bit. The start of that day was so beautiful. I was like riding my bike from boxing. I do still go to Tidal boxing, someone asked. And I'm riding up from Tidal to go up to the protest. And I get there and the streets are already backed up with cars. Because this is the Salt Lake's idea was to do a drive-through protest, right? And I could see the streets are already shut down. Cars are just parked. And I'm riding my bike through lanes and lanes of just parked cars for blocks. And I couldn't believe how many people showed up. And I just felt, I felt so happy. Later in the day, some people flip a cop car and set it on fire. Very cool, in my opinion. I think it's cool. But I'm watching the news. And the guy, because there was also the day that we were moving. So like we were out protesting and then coming back in and moving furniture from room to room. And as we're doing that, we have the live stream on of the local Channel 2 News. And the dude's just a fucking prick. I can't believe this fucking newscaster. He's just like, yeah, but how many of them do you think are Antifa? And how many of these people do you think live here versus have come from somewhere else? And he's just like hypothesizing just bullshit. And he said so many things that made me so mad. I went back out after curfew and stood in front of the National Guard and shit, and had guns pointed in my face, and just Jessa was we were both getting radicalized at the same time, more so than we already were. Anyway, at a later protest, like the July 9th protest, that motherfucker was down in Salt Lake, and they were trying to film protesters who were allegedly putting paint in the street, and we were like standing in front of their cameras and like telling them to fuck off. And this dude was there, and he was like fighting with all these guys. You're like, we're on your side, and why won't you let us? And I like fought my way up to the front. I was like, hey man, I've been wanting to talk to you ever since May 30th. And I had this whole, I like just tore him down in front of all these people. And I was like, you said this when actually this happened, and you say this when actually this happened, and I watched you say this, and blah blah blah. And he was like, that's great, would you like to do an interview? And then the whole group of people just laughed at him like, fuck you, man. No, we're not going. So, I don't know. That was a long rant, but I thought Justin needed to pee, so I went for it.
Yeah, you did it. You killed it. You ran through that. You covered the time. The day after George Floyd was murdered, we jumped on a plane and went to Minneapolis, and didn't know Phoenix is doing a service. Didn't know that it was going. It felt like this was the beginning of something big, but didn't know that it was going to be that there were going to be protests at home in a few days.
You're like, oh, we could have just stayed home. Oh no!
So I'm glad it like changed my life being there. But something that was so interesting on day one. I guess we were protests for a day. We got in that night, and then the next day, everyone on the news, because we were watching the local news to like figure out where to go or whatever, and everyone on the news was really not pro cop, not pro official narrative. They all the newscasters kind of had this like, well, this is what happens, you know? What do you expect when you do this? I mean, the people are, and the shit's on fire, and they're like, the people are fed up. And then you watch within like, I think it was like it was all day and then night. And then I was like, holy shit. Cause I'm typically like, the news is bullshit, you know? And then the next day it was completely different. I don't know if it was the same people or what, but it was all like, now the people are scared, and, you know, they totally changed the narrative. I think it's been interesting that people can't hide what they are anymore. I thought we were all going to get some level up in discernment and be able to see stuff, and now it's like people just can't hide that they're giant pieces of violent shit.
People talking about brushing my hair. One guy says specifically, brush my chest hair. Thank you. I do steal steak a lot. I do steal steak because it's a high ticket item. That's like, it's nice. It's nice for me and Ethan to eat a steak, and but that's not the most expensive thing I've stolen. I'm usually just stealing like $7 or $8 steaks. You know, the most expensive thing I have stolen from Smith's is a shovel. And I didn't, it's like also the most blatant thing that I ever stole. I just walked in, grabbed it, and walked out with it all over my shoulder, just like walked, see ya, and I just left. My friend was like complaining to me that she couldn't plant her tomatoes or some shit because someone had stolen her shovel. And I was like, shit, I got you. I'll get it. And I did.
I couldn't tell if this was a compliment, but I just realized it is a compliment. Yeah, this is my other plan, is what if we teach everyone how to hack abundance and then just break everyone out of the matrix that way. It's all very like overwhelming if I have to stay in a throwing one starfish back to the ocean kind of mentality. But I was like, what if we just taught everyone how to stop being batteries for the matrix and how to create a reality in their best interest? You want to brush your chest hair? I'll post the Venmo.
You know, I did a review of The Matrix with Danny. Oh, Jessa, Ethan, I showed The Matrix to Ethan, and he fucking loved it. I had never seen, yeah, he is like glued from the second this movie starts. He is watching it. And then, he's like, he's really into it from the very, very beginning. But then like a few scenes in, they play his favorite song by Rob Zombie. They play Dracula by Rob Zombie, and he loves that song. And that's playing in the club where Neo meets Trinity. And Ethan like sits up straight, and he's like, he knew that movie meant business at that point. He was like, if this movie has Rob Zombie in it, so this movie fucks.
Oh.
Like, I wrote down a list of every question, everything that he said during the movie, because it was he was just like, Dad, do you think the Matrix is real? And he was like asking all these questions. But the thing that he was most fascinated by was the phone. The cell phones that they have in the Matrix are like these Nokia banana phones, right. And he's fucking obsessed with them. He wants me to buy him one. And anyway, so I did a review of the Matrix. I even had Ethan on the Patreon of it, and it was Danny this time told me about that the character Switch had been originally written as a trans character. Well, like this character Switch was a man, was like a woman in the real world, but when she was in the Matrix, she was a man, or maybe it's vice versa, or whatever. But then later, and that was like the first I'd heard of it, and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool, especially when you consider that it's from the Wachowskis. At the time they made the Matrix, they were going as the Wachowski brothers. Now they're the Wachowski sisters, and you're like, oh my God. But then one of them, I think Lily, gave an interview this later in the year where she talked specifically about the Matrix as like the trans experience stuff. And I don't know, it's a whole new layer to the Matrix that I think is really, really cool.
I love it. We had this conversation. The kids are good. Right? Ethan's good. My kids went to school just in time to have to be homeschooled. They now share their time between wherever I'm at and Chicago with their dad.
We in Salt Lake, they went, you know, schools were canceled and we had to finish first grade at home, and that was tough. And then Ethan had like the weirdest summer vacation of his life, where it's just mostly inside the whole time. But he's 7 now. He's huge. He's like, his face looks grown up now. I kind of hate it. He started 2nd grade, and we were supposed to start 2 weeks ago, but the day that 2nd grade was supposed to start, hurricane force winds ripped through Salt Lake City, and everybody lost power. And so they were like, no school this week. And so we just started this week, was Ethan's very first week. His school year, like 1st grade, ended with an earthquake in Salt Lake City, and then was delayed with I think the earthquake might have been a little bit after. But anyway, natural disasters in Salt Lake City, fun.
The Moroni lost his trumpet, right?
Yes, he did lose his trumpet, which I think a lot of people misinterpret. So the trumpet, the Mormons believe that like the trumpets all face, every Moroni faces east, because that's the direction Christ will come from in his second coming, and he's supposed to blow the trumpet to start like there's going to be the trump to start the second coming. And Moroni was just like, I felt like it was like Jesus saying, fuck, I'm not coming back. He's like, fuck you guys, I'm not coming back. You guys are on your own.
I thought that there was a prophecy somewhere about the trumpet falling off.
No. Not that I know of. There's something about that. I'm like, stop getting, I'm the only Mormon you're allowed to get information from. Everyone else is.
I saw it. Hey, Phoenix, are you looking for something? You're what?
She's trying to get some screen time on.
Okay. You were doing laps. I didn't know. Is it outside? Okay. Okay. Losing your trumpet is another great masturbation euphemism.
True. True.
My 10-year-old did as well. I don't think he would be interested in The Matrix, though. I feel like it's hard to get kids to watch stuff that isn't like at the current level of production value. I mean, I guess The Matrix was pretty high for.
Matrix is still holding up. 20 years later, it looks great. There's like a couple of CG things that like don't look as good, but I mean, Ethan was fascinated with 1998 cell phones. He was like, "Whoa, Dad, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I love it." So, I don't know. I don't think I've noticed similar things about other movies with Ethan though. This might be a great time to remind everybody that if you're having a good time, if you enjoyed coming to the show, throw some donations at Venmo. You know, whatever you want, whatever you can. We appreciate it. If you don't have Venmo, we also have these other options available for you. Thanks. Oh, also, I have a third card that I haven't shown you yet. If you haven't seen Woodall Alone yet, or listened to it, my mixtape, my album, you can, you know, Venmo me at the same place, but you got to put Woodall Alone in there so I know what it's for. I also need your email address because I'm going to email you the link to Woodall Alone. And I'll say Gmail is better. If you have a Gmail address, send me that one. If you don't, it's fine. But if you have a Gmail address, send me that one. And then at least $5. If you want to pay more, you can, but you don't have to. Just put Woodall Alone, your email, and then I will email you the Google Drive link to Woodall Alone. It's really good. You'll like it.
I love it too. I think it just doesn't. Phoenix was, I don't know, 7, 8, young when he started. Just like what? So what? Why is this? What are these constructs about? And I just don't think that they. I think that if we had been given freedom to not fit in these boxes, we would have come to these conclusions as well. But, you know, I like growing up in the 80s, you know, you had your parents' bullshit projected onto you, their gender bullshit projected onto you.
Yeah. You have to thank all these like
they're like in the
brave people that pioneered it and showed people what was possible, you know? I think like a lot of previous generations, I mean, I think it's natural to be scared of something. You're just like, you've never heard of this before, so you're just like, that's not possible. There's only boys and girls. And
this is color is for you, and you can't play with it. When I was a kid, I remember boys getting spanked for getting caught playing with a doll with us girls. Like there was so much rigid trauma around that. And I think, you know, obviously this generation's more awake than we were, but also I think this is the first generation where the parents are like, why don't you tell me who you are rather than me projecting my fucking bullshit onto you? I mean, God, when I was growing up, kids were still like being forced to go into the career that their parents didn't succeed in.
Yeah, like remember how many movies were just like, Dad, I don't want, that's your dream, Dad.
Yeah.
Your dream, not mine. I paint Ethan's nails. Ethan asked for a Frozen nail polish set or Frozen 2, I guess, for Christmas, and he got it. And like, I really enjoy when he'll let me paint his nails when we're just like watching a Miyazaki movie or something.
I love
it. It's like fine. And I think there's a bunch of kids being raised like Ethan and Phoenix and Lilith. and then think of how they're going to raise their kids. And I am very rarely optimistic. It doesn't happen a lot, but I do sometimes feel optimistic about like things will get better for people, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I have a lot of faith in these kids.
The tiara's up to 51. The cardboard sign that I scribbled collab on, $7. Whoa, why is my helmet more than Jessa's helmet?
I thought that, but you know. Phoenix is the shit, man. Phoenix is also grateful because I had the foresight to give them a non-binary name. And also, if you ever heard me tell the story about meeting both kids in a dream before Phoenix was born, I think before I was even pregnant with Phoenix, I was like, we will have a boy and a girl. And
right. So interesting.
I would wear that fucking thing every single day. There are a few things when I think back to everything I lost when I got clean, and that is one of them. I miss
Nate getting pulled over. Good luck, Nate. Film the police. Jesus. Fucking scared and angry at every single cop that I see.
Stream it.
I am so afraid of being pulled over right now. There was a time in Salt Lake when like my friends and neighbors were getting arrested for being a part of a protest gang. And I was like, fuck. And anytime I went outside, I was like, what if they come for me?
Do you remember the time that I got pulled over and had to take a field sobriety test because of how drunk you were?
Yes, I do remember. I remember you almost failed it.
Yeah, I did fail it. I had to take a breathalyzer to prove my sobriety. I fucking can't stand cops. Can't stand cops.
All right, Jessa, you talk for a little bit because honestly, I think I might know what Nate's Venmo is. I think we're friends on Venmo and I can find it. Oh my God. There's so many payments. Thank you guys so much. My phone is freaking out with how much. Okay. Wow. You guys, thank you so fucking much. Wow. I'll never find Nate's Venmo because, wow, holy shit. My phone is now frozen in Venmo notifications.
Oh, thank you guys.
Thank you so, so much. Holy shit.
Probably should have looked at that before we plugged it.
Nah, we were always going to plug it the same amount of times. Jesus. All right. Well, my phone is for real frozen. Thank you guys so very much.
I was shocked to know how someone could be so uncoordinated. Like literally so uncoordinated. In all the dreams where the aliens were teaching me how to levitate, I always fall over the whole time, which is interesting because that is a similar experience that I have with walking.
At first I thought Gabe was saying he saw Nate getting pulled over. And I was like, what? You guys, you're hanging out in Chehalis together? Does anyone know if the Celtics are Heat one? Damn. Holy shit. So many Venmos. Thank you guys. Jesus, you guys are the best. Wow. Somebody paid $22.22. Love it. I am actually the opposite of Jessa with cops. I am somehow surprisingly really fucking smooth with the police. But man. I hate how the police are always talking about how they got injured at the protests. They're like, well, and then this is something the media just reports on without questioning. they're like 3 officers were injured. And I'm like, did you ask them how? Dress them? They're like, three officers went to the hospital. And then it's like, why didn't you ask them how? Like, what happened? They want you to think that Antifa hit him in the head with a Molotov cocktail. And instead, they just like got heat exhaustion from standing out in SWAT gear in 100-degree heat, which no one made them do. They did that on their own, and they got tired. And then their chief is like, you need to take an ambulance so that we can have some numbers and say that we had people injured. It makes me so angry, so very angry.
There was a
water bottle at you. Who fucking cares? You are covered head to toe in riot gear, and someone was
shooting bullets, rubber bullets at people, breaking their fucking skin open.
So this is what would happen in Salt Lake. Someone from the back would get angry and chuck a quarter full water bottle, and then cops would put a beanbag shotgun in my nose. They're like, back up! Someone threw a water bottle at my friend! Someone threw a water bottle at my friend, and I'm on edge. I'm on edge, man. I'm like, holy shit, dude.
I was doing an Instagram live at the protest, and the most obvious undercover cop in the history with a fucking, and I'm so mad I deleted the live after because I just didn't want it up, and then I was like, oh man, I wish I would have got this cop out, because he was so much like, hey fellow protesters, I'm a local neighborhood guy, and we were like, wow. Yeah, totally.
Can someone direct me to our local Antifa chapter president? I would like to check in and let him know that I'm here. No, they're so very, very obvious.
Oh.
And then I love the stuff that the cops like plant. In New York, we had videos. We had videos of cops unloading cases of bricks onto a street corner. Like, we busted them, and still the photo that because the thing is, they're only speaking to their audience. Their audience believes them. Their audience believes that this six-pack of Corona came with freshly bought bandanas is Antifa Molotov cocktail special. They believe it, and they're like, gives them permission to keep. When they see videos of cops beating people later, they're like, yeah, well, I mean, they brought Molotov cocktails, though, you know? Did you see the picture of bricks on the sidewalk at 9 a.m.? That's all the proof that I need. And it's fucked up.
My favorite is fucking the Antifa conspiracy theory. The people who don't understand what Antifa is at all is that they said that Antifa started the fires. Do you know why that is? Someone
the fires, they were always burning.
Someone was listening to the Scanners and heard them keep mentioning BLM, which is Bureau of Land Management.
Yeah.
And that's what started the whole Antifa started the fires.
And then there were reports of a truck with people with rifles stopping other cars and trying to search them to see if they were Antifa. And I was like, damn, man. So I went and visited my parents once this summer. It was so nice. We just like stayed inside their house, but like when you've been inside your own house for months, it was like a vacation to be on a different couch and in a different kitchen. It was so good. And I was very fired up, and I warned them, because every time my mom would call me, I'd be like, mother, fuck the police. And she would just be like, I think, and I would email her videos of police brutality. I'm like, have you watched them all yet? Did you watch the one where they are beating that guy? You know, she didn't like it. But I actually made great progress with my dad. I talked with him, and it's just like they just get their news from, the news. they just get completely different information than I do. And he just doesn't know. Like my dad was like, well, I don't understand why anyone would want to tear down a statue of Christopher Columbus. And I was like, oh, well, let me explain. And I told him, he was like, for real? That's what Christopher Columbus did? And I was like, yeah, man. I told him the whole story about like Italian immigrants trying to become more accepted by society and the whatever anti-defamation of Italians thing. And I told him the whole history of it. And he was like, oh, okay, I get it now. And then he brought it. He was like, well, what scares me is Antifa. And I was like, Dad, guess what? Antifa's not real. It doesn't exist. And he was like, well, of course it exists. And I was like, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's not real. It's a made up thing. And like, I got to tell my dad about it, and it felt very good. He was like, oh, okay. All right. I was like, Dad, you're an Antifa. You're Antifa. I'm Antifa. We're all Antifa. Okay. There's no Antifa headquarters. There's no one organ. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. My dad woke up quite a bit in this, and he's just evangelizing to the boomers. And he, I don't know, like a week or so called me. He was like, do you know what Antifa means? And I was like, yes. He was like, it's anti-fascist. What the fuck are you if you have a problem with anti-fascists? And I was like, get him, Dad. Get him, Dad. Get him. Talk to your people.
If you do need to pay your Antifa dues, you can send them right here, and we'll pass them along. We'll pass them up the chain, you know. I think something that when we start talking about narcissists on the podcast, we talked about it a bit, and it was very educational for me to learn all that stuff, and it's been very helpful. And one thing that narcissist does is accuse you of everything that they're doing. And I think this fits very well with, like, I think President Trump is an absolute textbook case narcissist, whatever. But just like government in general, I don't know if we can classify them as narcissists. That doesn't make much sense. But they do, when they start this narrative of out-of-town agitators. There's out-of-town agitators. People are getting bussed in. And it's so fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid. And I can't stand that, like, people on TV, they get paid to educate and inform people, just regurgitate this stupid thing without thinking about it. Because it's like, there's protests going on everywhere right now. Do you think that we're like someone, like people from Chicago are getting bussed into Salt Lake City to protest at our little lame ass? No one's getting bussed in. But what's the irony is that cops are the outside agitators. They're bringing in cops from all over the state. They're bringing in the National Guard, and they're the ones escalating everything. All these problems are like, you're getting water bottles thrown at you because you're here. Just leave, go away, and there will be no water bottles being thrown. You guys are the outside agitators. The buses of them, cops are literally getting bussed in riot gear, and they're then on the news talking about, like, oh, who know these? They say they're peaceful protesters, but how do we know they're not bussed in? Outsiders.
What is it? The government thinking everybody's getting bussed in everywhere. They're getting bussed in to vote. It's a very disconnected.
Have you ever asked a friend to come visit you and they live like 25 minutes away, and they're like, they never come to any of your shit because you live too far away, and it's like 20 minutes, and you think that we're going to different states to protest? Well, actually, Jessa did. So
I like to travel.
Them correct.
It was hard to get out, though. It was hard to get out. They kept canceling all the flights. They put in like the fucking this is like days. I think we tried to head home on like day 4. We were there for 3 days, and then they kept canceling our flights. And so then we finally went and returned the rental car and rented a car to drive back to Nashville. And we're at the car rental place, and the guy's like, yeah, I mean, we hardly have any cars because the FBI came in here and rented every car we had a couple days ago. He's just like spilling that information. But they got creepy. The cops are the creepy shit at the fucking
Absolutely. Hope for the future.
It just isn't going to have the government. That's it. It's just, I feel like we feel our most hopeless when we keep trying to heal where we were hurt. And we don't need them. And they're made up, money's made up, the medical system's made up, all these fake things are made up, and they exist because we believe that they're real. And they're pushing everyone to the point where people are just going to go, I'm not participating in this anymore. And, you know, this gets a little bit woo in that, I mean, if you don't believe that we have something to do with the creation of reality, but, you know, these systems got so much power because we believed them to be powerful, mostly because everyone was bought into this American dream bullshit. We were victims of gaslighting and mass hypnosis. And I don't mean like MK Ultra shit. I just mean like, you know, everybody stared at the same TV channels and they were told the same bullshit. Everybody, you know, and then the internet came along and started to break that up. And I mean, it sucks right now. It's a death process leading to a birth process. But we've just outgrown this. Like, we have people in charge who can't take responsibility for a mistake. Like, we've all healed and done all of this work to become better with each other. We care about each other. The service to self model is just done. It's gross. We don't give a fuck. And enough people with resources are waking up. And the redistribution of the wealth is not going to happen from them. We are going to do it. We are going to create new medical systems. We are going to create new, and we're just going to cut them out. And I know that doesn't sound true, but the same part of me that knew this apocalypse was coming knows what it's going to look like. I don't think we'll have a federal government by 2024. I think we'll live in small countries around the U.S. And I know that sounds wild, but
I do think it would be great if we could. I mean, like, it's wild that we like live in two different realities. Where like, and it's very hard to reach across that divide now when people are so convinced of one thing, and other people are like, no, that is not true at all. And I have thought how much better it would be if the president became more like a king. Like not like a king, but like, you know, the way that like in England the queen is, she has some power, but it's very limited, you know, and it's a figurehead. So we have like this figurehead that's keeping us all stringed together a little bit, but for states to become more independent like they were, you know, 100 years ago or something, maybe that would work. I think that, like, when I feel optimistic, I think about I hope that like stuff gets worse. Like, you think see that how much got done this summer because things were bad. Everyone was out of work, and there was no entertainment. There was nothing to watch on TV, and everyone was pissed and fed up. And we made a lot of progress in one summer. I mean, it's a lot. We got a lot accomplished. We're still very far away, and we still live in a very shitty world. But I feel like people are already placating themselves. They're already calming down now, and like there's not as much fervor for it, and things might have to get worse. We might need some more shitty things to happen. But I think that people need to take action and fight back. I feel like I differ from you, Jess, in this. We're like, I know you're like, let's separate whatever and build our own thing. And I think that we need to fight. It's
I'm into the fighting. I'm you know,
we have concentration camps in our country, and it's disgusting to think about. And we're in a country that like supposedly loves well-regulated militias and stuff. And I feel like I would like to make one and go storm a concentration camp. There's like the whistleblower the last week that talked about genocide. And it's happening. And I feel like that only goes away if people revolt and attack with power. And I think we need more people to get angry and upset because, like, I mean, it's like people. I can't believe that we haven't stormed anything yet. The only thing we've stormed is Area 51. That's it. And it's just like people like my mom. My mom she just goes, oh, and then she doesn't want to think about it anymore. She's like, I just think we should all work on being kind to each other. And they don't want to confront the reality that that women are having their children ripped from them and taken away, and then being given surgeries they didn't consent to that are irreversible. And this is why I haven't released any movie podcast, because this is what I sit in my brain and chew on all day, and it's just like, it sucks.
Yeah, I agree. We have to fight. I always felt like we needed to fight. I just thought, I don't believe that the government is powerful. They're powerful because they've lulled everyone into complacency for so long. I absolutely believe that endlessly protesting and fighting against them is doing something in the right direction.
There's a comment that I'm gonna refer to. I don't know if this is a joke or what. That we have concentration camps, but we aren't raping the kids in them. That is actually demonstrably false. There is rampant sexual abuse in ICE detention centers. Rampant sexual abuse in ICE detention centers. I don't know if it got big everywhere you guys lived, but like in Utah, it was very big. Operation Underground Railroad and the whole, child sex slave conspiracy theories. And they're like, forget Black Lives Matter. The real problem is that we have to save the children. And they don't really give a fuck about the children here that, like, we know for a fact are being sexually abused all the time and being stolen from their parents. Every 6 months, they're like, we lost a few more thousand kids. We don't know where they are. We don't have records of a few more thousand children. But you always want to invent some big bad sex ring boogeyman so that you can, like, I feel like they want to feel like they're fighting something, but they don't want to fight anything. And so they've just made up a fake fantasy thing to say that they're fighting something. Like, I want to protest. I want to protest something. I'm not going to protest on behalf of the betterment of Black people's lives. So I guess I'll pretend to care about children. They make me sick. There's so many of them in Utah, and I can't stand them. They're like the weakest kind of people.
Are they full QAnon?
I don't really know if they're full QAnon. Probably. I don't know. But like the guy who started this Operation Underground Railroad thing is a huge asshole, and he's a Mormon. He's from Utah, and he just wants to pretend that he's Ethan Hunt on a mission or whatever. He's Liam Neeson from Taken. I'm gonna go to the Philippines and I'm gonna break some kids out of sexual bondage and I was like, you could just do that in Texas, man. You can just go to Texas and you can be a hero. You can be a hero and play out this fantasy that you like, but you actually don't have any problem with ICE. You think it sucks, but like people should come here legally. If they come here legally, I have no problem with it. I have no problem with it. But if you don't come here legally, I no longer view you as a human being worthy of any help. Okay. It is performative. It's very, very fucking performative. There's QAnon art. I gotta see it. Is John McNaughton getting into the QAnon art? What does QAnon art look like?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's Trump as a hero, so that makes sense.
Like paintings? Oh my God. I've been to a couple small Utah towns myself lately. I filmed a commercial, and I took Ethan to these kick-ass rope swings, a pond that just has rope swings. Anyway, I live in the city, you know, and it's a lot of rainbow flags and BLM flags. And I started driving out to the small Utah towns, and whew, lots of blue stripe flags, lots of Trump 2020 flags, American flags, which also just feel racist at this point, you know? And I'm like getting scared. I'm like, oh my God. I don't know. But maybe that's how they feel about Antifa. Like, oh, they're going to get me. Whew.
Sorry, I'm ordering smash burger right now because I feel like I'm going to die.
Okay. This is so reminiscent of a podcast. Then I would be like, oh, I guess, hold
on. God, they just put everything on it though. You know, it's like, I just want it plain. Can I just get plain? No lettuce, no red onions, no tomatoes.
I haven't watched or read or done anything with Epstein, whatever. I have friends that do, and I am like, I don't think I want to know. I guess that's a little bit of my mom in me, where I'm like, I confront enough ugly shit, and I did everything they say he did, but I'm not going to watch a movie about it. I just found out about this Paris Hilton documentary, and it has a Utah connection, that she got sent to like lots of like kid rehab camps as a troubled teen, but she was sent to the Canyon Center in Provo. And parents that send their kids to camps like that, like conversion camps or rehab camps, I don't fucking get. I couldn't. Say what?
What was she sent there for?
Because she was like drinking and having sex and smoking weed and stuff. I don't know. I didn't watch it, but she was a bad kid, and so the Hiltons sent her to Provo to get. And it's just like they just abuse your kid mentally and physically, and say it's for their own good. And there's lots of different flavors. There's the gay camps and the drug camps and porn camps or whatever. But I struggle to understand the parent. I think that like for Mormons specifically, the religion can't influence you. They make mountains out of molehills. Like your kid's smoking weed, you really should just let it go. But instead, they're like, this will affect the eternity of all your posterity. For the rest of time, they will not be able to enter the kingdom of heaven because your child is going down the wrong path. And I can definitely sympathize with religion making you think dumb things. But at a certain point, what kind of parent sends their kid away to a place that they don't know anything about?
Projecting ass parent that thinks their kid exists to be a reflection on them.
Makes me very upset. Sometimes I still constantly worry about how I'm doing parenting, and in what ways will I fuck Ethan up, and for what exactly will he resent me when he is 25 and sorting through his trauma and shit. But I'm never gonna send him away to a fucking camp. At least I have that part of me. Oh, I got it. Oh yeah, every time that I sneeze, I forget that I'm supposed to look into a light to stop the sneeze.
Oh God, I do it all the time, and sometimes I don't sneeze and I just look crazy.
I've seen lots of comments about like how fun it is to have us back, and it feels fun. It feels fun. Jessa looks like she's dying though. Should we just wrap it up?
Maybe.
You know, we've been at it for over 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's what I thought we were gonna do. Anyway.
My wall.
Say what?
We may have hit my wall. This has been very interesting. I used to just be able to go, and like push myself. And this has been very interesting to have to like slow the fuck down. I finally got my life to where nobody can slow me down and I can go at the pace of Jessa. And then a tick was like, watch this. So yeah, 2 hours is probably my brain limit.
Someone just says, wrap it up. So, okay, you got it, boss. But yeah, I don't want you gotta eat, Jessa. You gotta.
Yeah, it'll be here at 8.
Like hanging out with Jess all the time. You would just go until she was like dead, and then she'd be like, "Oh, I haven't eaten since 3 p.m. yesterday." And I was like, "Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe let's grab you something to chew on."
Well, being on the road, you can't. There's nothing to fucking eat, and now I have even more foods that I can't eat. So yeah, I'm about to be just blend up some lettuce and call it a day.
Thank you guys. Thank you for being here and for supporting us. And I don't even know how much money you guys raised, but it's a fucking lot. So thank you so much. But just like mostly thanks for the environment. Thanks for wanting to have us back.
You guys are the best. Thank you very much. Nothing I say sounds sincere right now. I mean it though.
All right. If you want a more Jessa, I think everyone knows, but you should listen to Soberish. And if you want more me talking about movies and stuff, Mostly Movies is the name of that other podcast. And I might finally have my dream of talking about the entire Mission Impossible franchise soon. If you enjoyed the show, please tip us at Aaron-Woodall. If you don't have Venmo, we also got Aaron's Jokes or Aaron Woodall Comedy at gmail.com for PayPal. And if you would like to listen to Woodall alone, same Venmo, PayPal information. You just need to specify that it's for Woodall alone, and you need to put your email address, preferably a Gmail address. And anything like $5 and up gets you the best thing I've ever made. Second to Mormon and the Meth-Head. The best solo thing I've ever made. But did you see this in my Instagram comments? I posted about the reunion on Instagram, and someone was like making fun of drug addicts. Real classy, real great. And I was like, no, it's not it. And I wrote this whole long ass thing about what the podcast is. And it was actually really nice. Like I really enjoyed writing it, and it was all from the heart, and I meant it. I'm going to pull it up right now because I love getting sappy at the end of a podcast. Oh, what is it? Okay, here it is. It's about the parallels between recovering from drug addiction, recovering from a toxic religion, and about returning from the fringes of society to discover your true self after shaking off the only identity you can remember. It's about love and baggage and triggers and friendship and heartbreak and God and self-betterment, and is somehow hilarious the whole time. It is quite literally the best and most meaningful project I've ever been a part of. I guess maybe the name or the picture could make you think it was a bit, but it's not. I really was Mormon. Jessa Reed really was addicted to meth. Put her name in YouTube and you'll find the craziest, realest, funniest story about addiction you've ever heard. That she was able to take some of the darkest moments of her life and turn them into something funny, and then turn that into something cathartic and healing for thousands of other people is nothing short of miraculous. She's huge in the this is blah blah blah. Like I was like, I was like, we performed at recovery events. It's fine. I was like, no one is mocking anyone's addiction here, unless it's just as addiction to being a dumbass. Because honestly, we do spend a lot of time mocking that. But seriously, I do wholeheartedly recommend this podcast to everyone I know who isn't related to me. And I think that means a lot coming from someone who hates everything he's ever made. And then I like list episodes she could start at. But just the I think, and that's like the stuff that I said the podcast is about isn't even a comprehensive list. There's more stuff there, and I am not proud of a lot of things, of most things that I do, but this still is definitely like the best thing that I've ever been a part of.
That's very sweet.
Still nothing sounds sincere. Fuck off, Jessa. Go eat a fucking hamburger. Why didn't you eat before this? Oh Jesus!
I did. These meds are like.
Looks like it's up to me again to save the show.
Carrying the show as always. You love it. You fucking love it.
Oh my God, the pressure.
This was great. I'm glad we did this.
Yeah.
It was good to get the band back together.
It was good. It's fun to talk to everybody. Thanks for all the comments. I'm glad. Go get your Mormon and the Meth-Head swag on eBay, man. You can win the tiara. It's not gone yet. I love that you're doing this game. I want you to put the hair back on top of your head again.
Gabe, triad. Gabe is the third. It's doing it.
Yeah, I am gonna miss you guys in a few weeks when it's that first week of October and the air is perfect. And I know that Billings is looks magical and beautiful with bright yellow trees everywhere. And I'm not going to miss a single other thing. But you guys and the fall aesthetic in Billings the first week of October, I'm going to miss you guys.
Was that a year ago? Like fucking, I don't even know who that person was.
Yeah. Put it back on top of your head.
Well, this is stand up. It's
well, it was fun, everybody. No one cry. There's no need to cry. No crying tonight.
We'll do another reunion. Maybe when the new world starts.
Yeah. And this video is staying up on YouTube. So also goodbye to everyone who wasn't here live but is watching it later in the future. How is it in the future? Is it better? Did we fix everything? I hope so.
All right. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. I love you.